Being able to write asynchronous code and being able to work with promises are two very important things in JavaScript. They're very important and they're also very tricky. So I want to make sure to give you as much experience as possible. That's why this challenge video exists. In this one, you're going to be creating a brand new function like getPuzzle and getCountry, but for a brand new API. We're going to be working with an API that guesses your location based off of your IP address. So it's going to allow us to figure out what country we're in. Down below, let's go ahead and talk about how we're going to get this done. Before I leave any comments inside of the editor, I actually want to go over to the browser and explore where this API lives. We can find it by going to ipinfo.io. If you scroll down on this page, you can actually see what JSON data we're going to get back. Based off of just our IP address, we can see we get the longitude and latitude. We also get the city, the region, and right here we have the country code for the United States. This using an IP address from the Google offices in Mountain View, California. Now, this API is not open. That just means we do have to sign up for an account and authenticate ourselves in order to make these requests. That's common with most APIs. There are not a lot of APIs that are completely open like the REST countries one is, or the puzzle generator, which I created. Now, there is a paid plan for this API for more complex use cases, especially if you're making a lot of requests. For our purposes, if we're just testing things out and messing around with how technology works, they have a free tier. We can make 1,000 requests a month, and to get through this course, we'll probably be making 5 or 6 requests. So we need to sign up for a new account. All you have to do is sign up. Put your email and password in. When you click that link, you're going to have to verify your email. Then it's going to bring you back to ipinfo.io, and you will indeed be brought to the dashboard. So right here, you need to go through the sign up step. I'm just going to go ahead and log in to my existing account. Once you're done, you should see a page like this. Pause the video and make sure you're getting to this point, since we're going to continue on from here. From this page, all we really need is our access token, which is sitting right here. So let's go ahead and copy that to the clipboard. You can copy it. And now what we're going to do is pull up a URL in our browser, the endpoint for ipinfo.io. Right here, http:// that's ipinfo.io/JSON. Then we have to use the token we just copied to the clipboard as a query parameter. So after the question mark, we set token equal to whatever value we just copied from the clipboard. If we go ahead and visit this URL, it's going to try to find the location for us based off of our IP. Right here, it nailed it. I am indeed in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in the United States. Now, it's important to note that IP-based geolocation isn't perfect. If you pull up this location in Google Maps, that's not where I live. In fact, it's probably about 5 or 6 miles away from where I live. So the city might not be correct, but typically the region is, and almost always the country is. And that's what we're interested in here, is actually being able to figure out which country someone's living in. So this is the URL that you're going to be making a fetch request for over inside of the JavaScript file. So let's go ahead and talk about what I want you to do. There are a few comments for getting this one done. There are 3 steps for getting this one done. Step 1, you're going to create a new function called getLocation. This new function is going to take no arguments, and you can put that one over in requests.js alongside of getPuzzle and getCountry. So getPuzzle and getCountry both take an argument. This new one, getLocation, doesn't need any arguments at all. Now you're going to be setting up getLocation to make a request to the URL that we just explored. Here it is the URL with your special token attached. What comes back is our JSON information. It contains the city, the region, and the country, along with other information, but we're focused on those 3 for this challenge. So step 2, you're going to actually make a request to that URL, and you're going to make sure that we get the parsed data back. Step 3 is to actually use getLocation in this file. So in app.js, you want to call getLocation, much like we call getPuzzle and getCountry. Once you get the location information, I want you to print a little message that uses the city, the region, and the country. So for this data, I'd like to see something along the lines of, you are currently in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, US, for example. Obviously, the message you see will differ depending on where in the world you are. So take some time to knock that one out. You feel free to refer to what we've done for getPuzzle and getCountry if you get stuck. Pause the video, test your work, and when you're done, come back and click play. How'd you do? Let's go ahead and kick things off by creating the getLocation function over in requests.js. Right down here, I'm going to define that one, const getLocation. We're going to set it up to take no arguments since none are required. And then right here, we are going to start by returning our call to fetch. Return fetch, passing to fetch a static string. The URL is the one that we explored over inside of the browser. So I'm going to copy that one and paste it over here. And now we can attach then. So .then, right here, we get our response. And we can go ahead and start by checking for a status code of 200. So if response.status equals 200, what are we going to go ahead and do? We are going to go ahead and parse that data. So I'm going to return whatever comes back from response.json. Now, if things did not go well, we're just going to throw a new error like we've done for the other two requests up above. Throw new error, unable to fetch location. Perfect. So now that we have this file in place, we can actually make use of getLocation over in app.js, and that is step 3. Steps 1 and 2 are done. Steps 3 is to call getLocation. We're going to call getLocation with no arguments since it needs none, and we will attach then to do something with our data. Now for this function, our success handler, we get access to the location object. So I'm going to call that location right here. And for the moment, to test things out, we're just going to go ahead and dump the object to the screen. So console.log, printing location. Down below this, we're going to add on catch so we can respond to errors if there are any. We will get the error as the first and only argument, and then we will print it to the screen. We can print it exactly like we've done up above. I'm just going to take this console.log line and paste it down below. Perfect. Now that we have this in place, we should be able to see the entire location object when this code runs. I'm going to save app.js, switch over to our application, and what am I getting? I am indeed getting the location object. I have city, I have country, and I do indeed have region. So the final step was to actually use this information to do something meaningful, and you could have just created a template string for that. Console.log, right here, you are currently in, and then we'll just inject those 3 pieces of information. I can start off with location.city, then after a space, location.region, and then finally, the last value, location.country. And at the very end, I'll toss on some punctuation. Perfect. Now let's go ahead and save the file one more time. And what I am getting is our little message. You are currently in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, US. Perfect. That is what I wanted you to do for the challenge, to get a bit more experience working with APIs, with the fetch function, and with promise chaining. Let's go ahead and remove the duplicate console.log, and there we go, the final challenge solution. And now I'd like to move on to a second challenge for this video before we go. And this one's going to be easy. It's not going to require you to make any changes to requests.js. All it's going to require you to do is use a bit of promise chaining to combine getLocation and getCountry. So right now we have getLocation. getLocation takes no arguments, and in the end of the day, one of the things we get back is the country code via location.country, and we've already proven that worked by printing it to the console. So what you're going to do is use getLocation to get the country code, and then you're going to pass that country code into getCountry to get the details for the country that the user is currently located in. All you're going to do from there is print the country's full name. So that is going to combine both of these. We make one asynchronous request getting the country code. We use that country code to make another asynchronous request, and then we get the full country name. Now, if you forget how to change this code in order to set up promise chaining, just refer to the promise chain example that we set up in promises.js. Down below, we started by making a promise request for some piece of information. We then passed that information to another promise, and then down below that, we were able to do something with the final result. The final thing that you're going to do is just print the full country name. So take some time to modify the code highlighted here to use promise chaining. In the end of the day, you should see the full country name for the country you're currently located in. Pause the video, test your work, and when you're done, click play. All right, how'd you do? Let's go ahead and kick things off. We're going to keep getLocation pretty much as it is, though I'm going to remove this entire console.log line. That's no longer important. What we're going to do instead is call getCountry. I'm going to call getCountry with what it expects, the country code. And in this case, we're not using a static code like we did up above. We're using one that comes from location.country. Now, you do want to set up promise chaining. So what we're going to do is return this promise. I'm going to return whatever comes back from getCountry, and that's going to allow us to set up another then call right here. So .then, calling the function, passing in the success handler, and this is where we get access to the information that's resolved from getCountry. In this case, the country details. So I'm going to put country right here. Then down below that, console.log country.name. Excellent. Now, to avoid confusing output, I am going to remove the other getCountry call up above, leaving just the new one in place. We can now save app.js and see what we get. Over here, we do see United States of America showing up. This is only showing up because of app.js line 24. That is indeed the line right here. So we know that our promise chaining example is working as expected. If we head over to the network tab, we can also see the requests coming back and forth. Down below, we see we have our puzzle request. We then have the request for the location. And then below that, we have the request for the countries API. So those are the three requests we make. In this case, one is completely independent. In the other case, these two are closely tied. We use information from one to actually make the other. That's where I'd like to stop for this one. We got some more experience with HTTP requests, asynchronous programming, and promises. In the next video, we're going to continue on learning something new. Let's jump right in.